You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on Citi TV. Now, time now to go into our communities to look at some concerning issues that are going on. You know, we are now in the thick of the rainy season, and reports of flooding here and there are very worrying. But to an extent, you know, we blame authorities, and I mean, we as citizens also have a huge role to play in all these. There have been concerns about, you know, indiscriminate disposing of refuse. There's also been drains that cannot contain the huge volumes of water flow. And I mean, all the other issues that come together to cause floods anytime it rains. Now, this is the situation. People are dying, others are being displaced, you name it. Now, over the weekend, the people of Ho in the Volta region had a very terrible experience with flooding. Now, thankfully, the waters have receded and it looks like life is back to normalcy. But as we are still in the rainy season, what really is going to happen should there be another heavy rainfall? Now, this time around, it doesn't even need to be a heavy rainfall. You know, the little rain, we have issues. We have a report on what happened on Saturday in Ho. Let's take a look at it. We'll come back and have a conversation.
Preliminary complaints by residents indicate that the inundation was primarily caused by clogged drainage systems and improper construction along waterways. Residents of Ho were yesterday taken aback by a relentless downpour that lasted for 3 hours, resulting in significant street inundation throughout the municipality. The unexpected rainstorm wreaked havoc on local businesses, causing damage to shops, while also inundating numerous homes in its wake. Streets were transformed into temporary waterways, impeding movement and causing disruption in daily life. The community was left grappling with the aftermath of the destructive rainfall, as some were seen this morning fetching water out of their homes, while shop owners were also busy cleaning and washing their affected goods. An affected resident, Matthias Atipo, narrated his ordeal in a Citi News interview. According to him, buildings situated on waterways and dumping of refuse in gutters contributed to the flooding.
Government, Matin stop but two there. Two there. Tachia me go to like a get home, let you like a get home from the entrance. Siban no joy. A glebum when I bet you home a pity your plechi. No majority in your. This is the first time. Majority in your. The Egg a Chinese banto. A hujo, a la. Hetty Jagame, dear Funam Lao. I don't know. Menyane glebe mutaela, elebe chebiti tuf mala, hubedova pare, epiacolegere home.
Some other affected residents in the municipality want authorities to see to the rehabilitation of smaller bridges into a much bigger one to accommodate the growing population in the municipality. They also blame some residents for failure to abide by building instructions.
Yeah, just recently. So I saw the man collecting refuse and dumping them here. So I asked him to stop because when it rains, this refuse will all flood and then enter the house. He quickly told me that the place is for him and that his land ends over there. I said, no, please don't pour the refuse. He asked me to go to council if I have money, so council should come and tell him. I said, no, you are built on a drainage. So that place, when it rains, we will be in he refused. So me, I left him because I am just a tenant over here.
No dolly, no baba renovate bridge kere. Cover to no. Tamina assemblyman nyabere no guy cover today. Still no long body. A point cover to ameve. Ta enova hikarande eduonu. Ta no when any bridge the recover no yabe London we. Adoto bridge emai. Kake covet ke oga bogava wake e ke no egban kura nyo wuke over wa tanu yan bo no wa doke fifi la ho ga covet elere ke ga ko agbelera ya me ke no be no gbugbo wa nyire la ke le be no bova stop wa no the covet kira no gbugbo wa no blibo na nye bridge de ke ku kekere ke maga no an choke gbo ta ke me onye be aga ye covet ya ko wokore ku keke aga e ke aga gbo aga pa uke Tanua la bridge ya here le fia beleke o wele scrap le fimi. Even here te pesu so o kebiti amole o lafi o to vale yide. Tane fie chenye bridge de. Ku hekere ke magano o choke gbo. Tano be wo le shoddy work wa for a meantime de egako agbeleda ya me. Ta mi here bridge.
In a tour to some of the affected areas in the municipality, some property owners who built along waterways, according to the Home Municipal Chief Executive, Divine Bosson, will be served notice to produce their building permits. He noted that failure to produce them will see the culprits being sanctioned.
As an assembly, we call for his permit. The Works Department Development Control Officer, Engineer Sylvester Kukabongo, will follow up tomorrow to inspect the permit. If the permit is not there, we will advise ourselves. If the permit is there, we will still advise ourselves.
DMC Divine Bosson, in an interview, however, noted that the municipality is in need of more drainage systems to contain the rains. He also noted that structures found on waterways will be demolished while the owner sanctioned.
As a chief executive, as I've always been saying, the job of the assembly and the chief executive is to provide solution whenever there is problem. So as we usually do, we will try to at least those that we can do urgently, like the one we are seeing here. We have to call the urban road engineer to do some re-engineering. Then quickly we can do some refilling with gravels. And those that need to be sent to Accra, with Nadbo and myself, we will send them to Accra. We need a lot of drains in town. We must build a lot of drains to contain the volume of waters that are passing through these waterways. And it should be well-engineered project. So I will put my reports together as I wait for the final disaster assessment from the disaster expert.
Speaking to journalists, the Regional NADBO Director, Ivy Amauga, says necessary actions will be taken after the assessment of the flooding.
We cannot give you any figure. We might just be exaggerating. So it will be better if we give you the final and then actual figure after the assessment. So as the Chief Executive said, my officers are also on ground with myself. We are still taking the assessment reports and then the necessary actions that need to be taken for the final result. So that question will definitely be answered latest by close of day. Then we know the actual number of people that have been affected. As to the causes, as the Chief Executive said, we realize that some people have some structures on waterways, and it is the duty of the Assembly to make sure that those structures are pulled down. So I'm happy the Chief Executive spoke to it and said action will start tomorrow. We will closely follow and make sure that those structures are equally pulled down. As to the things that were lost, the properties, as said, we will also try send the reports to Accra and we see how best we can also help them.
Residents in the Home Municipality are urging city authorities to, as a matter of urgency, prioritize the rehabilitation of drainage systems in the municipality. According to them, this will help solve the flooding situations in the municipality.
So there you have it, what happened in Ho over the weekend. Now, when you listen to the report, David, you pick certain elements from it. Now, it is pretty obvious that, by far and large, indiscipline is our problem in this country. And when I talk of indiscipline, it comes from both ends, from authorities and citizens alike, because authorities are not checking, state institutions are not checking where people should be building, really. Who is giving all these permits to people to think that they can put up structures anywhere? You saw the lady who spoke earlier, that even as a layperson, she saw that where you are building will be problematic. We are going to be experiencing floods when it rains heavily because you are building on a waterway. The person said, I'll go to council because they also believe that
if you have money, go to
exactly because I have the permission to build here. And so you cannot come tell me to stop. And another thing is the drains are extremely tight. You know, so it can contain the volumes of water that flows through them. And another thing is our indiscriminate nature of dropping refuse here and there. So if all these come together, we are our own enemies.
It's a confluence of problems.
Everybody is contributing to this.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, the leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership, you know. And so yes, as much as we are all culpable, those who are appointed to be in charge of things carry the most, you know, responsibility. We've been joined by the assemblyman. He's Sefaji Agama. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir, and thanks for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Now, give us a sense of how things are now after the weekend rains and the flooding and everything that happened. How are things this morning?
Yeah, this morning the weather is cloudy with signs of possible rainfall.
Okay.
And, you know, because of the fear in us, so anytime we see the clouds gathering, there is some kind of fear in the citizens of the whole township.
Yeah.
Because of what we experienced last Saturday.
Now, try to give us a sense of the feeling on the ground as the waters were rising. You know, there was a report we have, and some people were saying that they've never seen anything like this before. What about you?
Very, very true. There's been torrential rainfalls, but in the past, but this one we have not experienced it before, and it's so surprising. And when you hear people's testimonies, it's as if they were almost dying. They thought they were going to be washed away by the run of water. It was so severe that we feel so devastated. People's shops have been evacuated, homes flooded, buildings have fallen apart. Fence walls have broken down, and so many other things. Roads have been badly damaged, some cut off. And I cannot describe all because it's so terrible.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask about the assembly and what the assembly is doing, because you know we have our laws, bylaws, and so on governing the issue of issuance of permits and places where people are supposed to build, where they are not allowed to build, and so on and so forth. In terms of the report that we got, it seems to be that a lot of people have built in waterways and blocked waterways. You know, so water is looking to find its new level, and so where in times past water would have flowed easily and gone, even though torrential rains would have come. Now it seems as though certain places have been blocked, and so the water is rather rising instead of flowing through. What is the assembly doing in this regard? I mean, have you had a meeting yet after the floods? What is the conversation that's going on?
Thank you so much for the question. In actual fact, since the day of the incident, I've joined the NCE, the regional NADMO coordinator, and then the municipal NADMO coordinator, and the team around town.
Okay.
Then I also joined the MP, Honorable Benjamin Komlakodo. I was part of the team that took him around with a couple of the regional executives of NDC and the constituency executives. And I would say that NADMO is still assessing the extent of damage. Okay. So far, per what I've gathered, 640 people have been affected. And I believe we have not finished counting. Maybe by the time we finish, we'll get to 700 plus. Because there are some places that I, personally in my electoral area, am discovering that they have also been affected.
What's your electoral area?
My electoral area is Bosontoe.
Okay.
Bosontoe electoral area. And so far, I can gauge 6 other electoral areas that were badly hit. And my electoral area happens to be at the extreme end of the whole municipality, between whole municipal and then Adakulu.
Okay.
It encompasses whole technical university, Mauli School, Marco Girls, Medical Village, Mauli Estate, up to Hokoji EP headquarters.
Okay.
So unfortunately for us, our area happens to be kind of like a low-lying area. So the three major drains in the whole municipality empties in the electoral area.
Yeah.
And we are so fortunate that the regional hydro have started dredging part of the stream or the waterways.
Yeah.
Had it not been that, we would have been picking dead bodies for the community by now. So it is my prayer that the drainage will continue even as the land gets solidified a bit, because now the way it is, we are afraid the excavators and machines may be destroyed in the mud.
Yeah.
So
So
we are praying that things will normalize.
So we are looking at footage of someone deliberately emptying their bin into a drain. I realize that sometimes the citizenry are very, very recalcitrant and will deliberately do things because instead of going to dispose of your rubbish appropriately, they're waiting for the rains. As the rains come, then they rather throw.
And they throw it.
Yes, into the. I want to find out what is the Assembly's decision in this regard, because I think that sanctions, these people, for example, we see in the video, have to be arrested and have to be sent to court, to answer for their misbehavior.
Yes, I believe strongly that if we are able to implement those bylaws effectively, people will begin to get a sense that the drains are not dumping grounds where you wait for rainfall before you start throwing rubbish into the drains. In fact, when you see some of the places, you realize that the whole place is filthy. Polythene bags, waste materials all over some of the points. So part of the challenge is that we have been dumping refuse into the drains.
Yeah.
And I believe this 30 days rain has taught us a very serious lesson. Then again, I want to hype on the settlements or the how people put up buildings. At times, we as assembly members and unit committee members, we discover, or community members, discover certain projects that are springing out in certain parts of the municipality. You take steps, go to the town and country planning, lodge a report, and only to find out later on that the project is still continuing. So I think we need to resource the town and country planning department to ensure that whatever they do, everybody or the eye of the public must be there to see that this project has been halted or they have denied permit for the building of this structure at this part of the community, so that we can all help the assembly and the fiscal planning department to enforce. My brother, one thing I've also discovered is that I think the population of the whole municipality has been so much bruised. Can you imagine that the population of the municipality used to be 177,000 plus a little hundred in 2010.
Okay.
That is according to the 2010 population and housing census.
Okay.
Then fast forward 2021, after 11 long years, 2021 population and housing census figures are telling us that the municipality is now 180,420. Meaning that they are telling us that we have just improved, our population has just increased by 3,000 plus human beings.
Yeah.
And I think that does not make statistical sense.
Okay.
In the sense that we now have University of Health and Allied Sciences fully operating. We have Ho Technical University. We have EP University, Telecoms University College.
Yeah.
We have Morley Senior High School. We have Ola Senior High School. We have some other senior high schools within the municipality, which could at least add a little figure, even if those individuals in the schools are not citizens of the whole municipality. At least the census night would have captured some of those people to increase our population so that we qualify for the metropolitan status.
So you feel as though the fact that your status has not been changed? Certain amenities, provisions, and so on that should come to you to be able to cater for
the
population are not there.
Yes, so as we speak, I believe that per our population, if the actual numbers were given, we should have been around 200,000, getting to 250,000, which qualifies us to become a metropolitan assembly. And that would in itself bring along development. You see, the drainage that we are complaining about is below the standard of the number of people within the municipality. So if truly our real population figure is known, then it should call for expansion of our drainage system. But now we are being told that we are 180,000, whereas in actual fact we are more than that. So any development planner will plan the municipality on 180,000 or so. When in actual fact we are far beyond the 180,000. So I want to use this opportunity to launch a special appeal to the government and the local government ministry, that they should take a second look at the municipality and start planning to upgrade whole municipal into a metropolitan station. That will suffice in terms of the development that we may want.
All right. Well, I mean, that's a good call. I want to find out briefly before you leave us, what is the punishment for people who are found to be disposing of their rubbish, like the two gentlemen in the video that we see? What would typically be the punishment from the assembly to people like that?
I must confess, I've not watched the video that you are talking about, but we know that at times when people are caught doing those things, they are fined. We are lucky our MEHO now is a licensed prosecutor. Previously, we didn't have a licensed prosecutor, but the new one is a licensed prosecutor. And the bylaw says that anybody who is caught in those acts must be punished. But for the punishment, I cannot specify. For example, when we're moving around part of my community, the Bosotwe community, where the flood has disturbed people, we saw somebody opening his or a septic tank. It is connected into the drain. Unfortunately for them, we saw human excreta around when we got there. And fortunately on our side, the deputy MEHO was in the team moving around with us. So quickly the person was summoned.
Okay, and when you say summoned, what's the punishment? You see, because for me, I think that there's always relevance of punishing people to deter others. You see, first of all, you punish, number one, but you have to also publicize the punishment as a deterrent for others. What is the assembly doing? And that's what I want to know.
Yeah, in actual fact, we have not met to reinforce the existing bylaws.
Okay.
So it will be difficult for me to state exactly what has been in the bylaws, because it has been lying fallow for, let me confess, it has been lying fallow for long.
Okay.
And nobody seems to implement them.
Okay.
So now that these things are happening, I think it calls for a review and then to make it a bit tougher and to look at other sorts of means of punishment. You see, when you find somebody and the person pays a token, let's say 500 cedis or something like that, it's just in the office. What if we add something like the person rendering a communal service in addition to what he or she has done?
I agree, 100%. I agree.
Yes. So if you are made to sweep the marketplace for 1 week, everybody will know that, yes, you have committed a sanitation offense, and this is your punishment. So it will serve as a deterrent to other community members. But those things are not being done, and I must confess that we need to up our game as assembly members, and then as a municipality, we need to up our game and ensure that this thing never happens again. Because the whole municipality, we have launched a program and we are working towards becoming the oxygen city of Ghana. So our name is the Oxygen City. So we need to up the game to ensure that whatever we do merits the Oxygen City name that we have or we have carved for ourselves.
All right. Thank you very much. That was Mr. Sefaji Agama.
Thank you.
He is the assembly member for Bosontoy electoral area in the whole municipal. Yeah. You see.
Well, at least he was honest.
Which I like.
To say that they are sleeping on the job.
Yeah, because really, this is what it is. When you allow people to day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, to do the wrong thing becomes normal.
The normal thing, of course, and that is what we are seeing now.
And then people are offended because you are now raising up the issue.
Because for me, if you say that now that these things are happening, what warranted the punishment? What warranted, having certain things, certain measures put down? Is because the assembly saw that these things were happening, and I want to believe that these were long ago. That is why we had these fines and also punishment to deter others and all that. But he admitted, that, well,
they've not been
implementing these things, and now that they are happening. Well, and most of the time, that is the problem. We have the laws. We don't implement until something happens. And until we also change this way of doing things and change our mindset, our mentality, that we do not wait for the people to cause the harm before we punish. We set the rules to deter people and to prevent people from actually even going on with such behaviors. So now there's been flood. Properties have been lost. We are now going to do this. And most of the times we are very reactive, instead of being very proactive and ensuring that these things will be, because the truth of the matter is, we don't have an admin that is well-resourced to take charge when issues like this happen. So the best and the most we can do for ourselves as a people is to prevent them from happening. Because look, by the time you call NADMO comes there empty-handed, the harm is already been done. And so I think that if we really have the laws, let us implement them. So sometimes I ask myself that, so when authorities go to work, what do they do?
Yeah, they have meetings and discussions.
Because you go sit down, put the laws together, put certain measures together, and then that is where it ends. Nothing really happens.
And we are very good at advising people. And I don't understand what this business is about. Why are we advising people? Your advice should come way before there's a problem. And then when there's a problem, that is where we do implementation of laws. Apply, enforce.
A full-grown man, is seen on TV, is seen by neighbors, dumping refuse into the drain. You are going to advise such people. We are going to be educating them.
It's like,
come on.
We need to do much better than that. We need to do much better than that. This guy needs to experience at least a few days.
Look at how huge the bin is. And dumping all these, and these are not. You see the things that are being done, like huge stuff. Exactly. Look, he needs an extra hand to help him do this. So
they take it out, and now they remove some of the rubbish from inside. You watch this. He's about to lift it.
Can you imagine?
Lift all this out into the boiler. Now there's still more. There's still more. Okay, so they're going to lift it.
Can you imagine?
Together, two grown men. Okay, spill it, and they're not embarrassed, they're not shy to do this disgraceful behavior. Look at them.
And then these people come and say all kinds of things that the government is not opening up the drain. So what, we should open up the drain so that it can take more rubbish?
But this is the behavior. And this is just one person out of hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians who behave like this on a daily basis.
Look at him.
That's why we are where we are.
And this guy would get up Monday morning,
and
dress up wear trousers and long sleeve shirt and wear tie and go and sit in the office. And he is rather punishing people who are not doing their work. It's such a disgrace.
But that's what it is.
And look at the one carrying the lid of the bin too.
Anyway, so to the leaders of our various communities, it's important for us to take the bull by the horns. We can't do business as usual. You know, we like this, advise the people, talk to the people. We are talking to the people.
We've been advising people since independence. What has happened?
Since before independence.
What has happened?
You see, so we need to do better than that. We need to be able to punish people when they do the wrong thing. And it's not, when I punish you, it's not because I hate you. You see, this sort of ridiculous mentality that we have as Ghanaians, we have to change it. But punishing somebody doesn't mean you hate the person.
But David, let them think whatever they think.
No, I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that. You see, people want to feel like they are nice people. Do you understand? And so it's like the person would think I hate them because you get what I'm saying?
But if you act like this, everybody should hate you.
No, but it's just not about hatred. It's about you've done the wrong thing.
Exactly.
You should be punished.
Why did you have to wait till there was rainfall for you to bring it out? If you think whatever you were doing was the right thing, why didn't you carry it out in broad daylight to go dump the whole thing? You wait till it's raining where everybody is inside, nobody, then you sneak and go and dump stuff there. Why do we do this?
We have been joined on the line this morning by the MC of Ho, Divine Borson. He's on the line. Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good morning,
Morning.
to your viewers and listeners. And good morning to you.
All right. So, Honorable Borson, we want to find out what the whole municipality is doing about this flooding situation. So we do realize that from the reports that we saw, buildings, blocking waterways, indiscriminate dumping of refuse in existing gutters, which some say may be too small as they are, but they are also being, dumped in, and all kinds of human. It basically looks like a human, interruption in the natural cycle of things, and this is what is creating the flooding. What do you think about that, and what is the Assembly going to do moving forward?
Thank you, Citi TV, for the privilege and opportunity. Yes, what happened last Saturday has never happened in Ho before. We do have some level of flooding here and there in August, September, October. Sometimes we do have in some spot places or places that experience some level of flooding, but not as severe as the last one. But I will attribute this to both natural and then artificial. Natural because ideally, per our development and what we have and what we are using as people of Ho or the nation, we having 3, 4, 5 hours heavy downpour, uninterrupted heavy downpour. It could happen everywhere around the world, and there will be some sort of flooding. But that's the natural way I say. But to the artificial way, some of this could be avoided, if not avoided at all. The effect could be mitigated, because if you look at some places, not all of the places, you realize the waste dumped into the waterways, and some places you realize the waterways are too small. The storm drains that we have are too small now. Sometimes ago, it was the same kind of storm drain that was containing heavy downpour. But now development is so fast in Ho. People are building homes, leading or leaking their waters onto the storm drains, road construction here and there, and leading other wastewaters into the storm drains. So for that matter, the place is no longer okay. The size of the storm drain is no longer okay to contain the volume of the waters that they are having now. That is it. But, so I have identified this when I became MC. I came from NADMO point of view as a regional director of NADMO then, so I knew, and I'm born in Ho, I school in Ho, I grew up in Ho, so I knew some of these challenges before I became MC. Quickly, when I became MC, I started a project that I christened Operation Let's Get the Roads Open under a concept I call the road train. What we do is that we pull down structures on a waterway. We pull down structures that are on the roads, areas targeted to be roads people build on it. We pull down several structures. Had it not because of that, maybe what happened the last time would have been worse. And also thanks to the central government, to be precise, Western Housing, that they have given 3 contracts of dredging some of the major storm drains in the whole. Had it not because of that, the story would have been different. I am so grateful that even though the effects, the impact was so great, people lost their work and livelihood, but no life is being lost on that fateful day. So as an MCE, we are taking the challenge. We are confronting the challenge as we have already started pulling down some more structures built on the waterway, trying to correct some of the pipelines that are placed on these storm drains and all those things. We have started. The whole is noted as oxygen city, a cleaner city in the whole country. People can attest to that. We are not ready to lose that position now. Therefore, we are trying to do our best to at least in Japanese way, whenever disaster strikes, it is a time for them to do something they call BBB, build back better. That is the approach I am trying to have, so that even if it happens again, the effect will not be, or the impact will not be as it was the last time.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. That was the MCE of Ho Municipality, Divine Boston, speaking to us. Any comments before we?
You see, I'll just rather reserve my comments.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, because I have too many questions for him, you know. Because if you tell me that we've given the contract out, but for that, what's happening Saturday would have been worse. What does that mean? Because you gave the contract out, that is why the situation was a bit better.
He says, he says that some storm drains have been dredged. I mean, it's not completed, but some dredging has happened.
They should still go back and arrest those who are
pouring
the rubbish into the thing. And let's come and cover again. They should do better.
Yeah.
You understand?
I think we need to see
the assemblyman said it earlier that we are sleeping on the job.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
And let everybody involved, including Honorable MCE, to get to the grounds and do the needful. He's coming from NADMO. So I'm happy that he understands the situation better. And he knows that, yes, it could be that the storm drains are small, but if they are not choked, the situation won't be this dire.
Yeah, that's the issue, you know. And then for me, it's...
And he said really that, these things were not happening. So it means that human behaviors are contributing to this. Yeah. Why are people building on waterways?
Yeah. And why are we not able to do anything about it? Anyway,